Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder. Today, outdoor holding company POWWP just filed their fiscal year 2026 10K report, and I'm seeing some very interesting moves that will shape their future. Quick note, this is not financial advice, just my take on public filings for educational purposes. While the company exited its ammunition business, they are heavily investing in AI and their marketplace performance looks steady, but faces some serious competition. Alright, let's dive into the numbers starting with revenue. For the year ended the 31st of March 2026, Outdoor Holding Company reported net revenues of $51.1 million. That is a slight increase of about 3.5% compared to $49.4 million for the previous year. This growth seems to be driven by more firearms sales on their gunbroker marketplace platform. While it is growth, it is not super dramatic growth, but positive nonetheless. Looking at the bottom line, it tells a bit of a different story. The company reported a loss from continuing operations of $4.9 million for the year ended the 31st of March 2026. That is a big improvement from a loss of $65.2 million in the prior year. This significantly smaller loss is mainly due to the company selling off its ammunition manufacturing business, which was really dragging down their numbers. Now let's look at something called adjusted EBITDA, which is a way to measure a company's operating performance without certain expenses. For the year ended the 31st of March 2026, adjusted EBITDA was $22.3 million, showing strong operational performance. This is up from $15.3 million in the prior year. This shows that excluding things like one-time legal settlements and restructuring, the core business is actually performing quite well. A huge part of their story this past year was the sale of their ammunition manufacturing business. On the 18th of April 2025, they closed the deal with Olin Winchester LLC for $75 million, and after adjustments they received about $42.9 million. This sale was a major strategic shift and really cleans up their financial picture. It allowed them to transition completely into focusing on their gunbroker marketplace. This filing also details the resolution of a significant Delaware lawsuit. A settlement was reached with Stephen Irvin, who is now the Chief Executive Officer. As part of this settlement, 2 unsecured promissory notes totaling $51 million were issued to an affiliate of Mr. Irvin, and warrants were also issued. This whole settlement involved complex financial instruments and required significant judgment from auditors. The accounting for this settlement was so complex it was highlighted as a critical audit matter by their auditors. This involved figuring out the value of newly issued debt and warrants and how to account for the extinguishment of debt through warrants. It required a deep dive into the specific terms of the agreements and complex valuation models. There is also a concerning note about accounts receivable from entities owned by Steve Irvin, totaling over $200,000 that were deemed uncollectible and written off. While the audit committee approved this write-off, it is still a point of interest when looking at related party transactions. Outdoor Holding Company issued a significant number of warrants as part of these settlements. In total, they issued warrants for 20 million shares of common stock. This includes a 7 million share warrant and a 13 million share warrant. These warrants represent a potential future dilution for existing shareholders, and their exercise could significantly impact the stock. Looking at equity compensation plans, the company has 2 main plans: the 2017 Equity Incentive Plan, which has been replaced, and the 2025 Long-Term Incentive Plan. As of the 31st of March 2026, there were over 9 million shares available for future issuance under the new plan. This shows a continued commitment to using stock-based compensation to incentivize employees and executives. Leadership has seen some major changes. Steve Irvin is now the Chief Executive Officer and Chairman of the Board, appointed in May 2025. He has a deep history with Gunbroker, even founding it in 1999. His vision seems to be driving the company's focus on technology and marketplace enhancements. Looking at recent news, Outdoor Holding Company did report its 4th quarter and fiscal year 2026 financial results in June 2026. This filing we are reviewing is reflecting those results, and we are seeing the full year picture here. The board of directors composition has also seen changes, with new directors added in August 2025. These directors bring valuable experience in areas like e-commerce, financial leadership, and corporate governance. In terms of cybersecurity, the company has a comprehensive program overseen by the board. They engage third-party consultants and have processes to manage risks from cyber threats. However, like many companies, they acknowledge that they have experienced cybersecurity incidents and will continue to face risks that could impact their business. Now let's talk about competition. The company operates in a very crowded market for firearms, shooting, sports, and outdoor gear. They face competition from other peer-to-peer marketplaces, direct-to-consumer manufacturers, and even traditional brick-and-mortar stores. Their ability to attract and retain both buyers and sellers is crucial, and competition could hurt their business. The company has authorized a share repurchase program to buy back up to $15 million worth of their common stock. In the fourth quarter of fiscal 2026, they repurchased over 513,000 shares. This is a fairly standard move to return capital to shareholders, but it also could affect the stock price. Diving into the balance sheet, as of the 31st of March 2026, Outdoor Holding Company had $68.1 million in cash and cash equivalents. This is a significant increase from $30.2 million in the prior year, largely due to the sale of the ammunition business. Their total assets are around $267.5 million. On the liabilities side total, liabilities are around $32.5 million. The sale of the ammunition business and the resolution of the Delaware lawsuit have significantly reshaped their balance sheet. Looking at net loss attributable to common stock shareholders, it was a loss of $6.6 million for the year ended the 31st of March 2026. This is a massive improvement from a loss of $133.9 million in the prior year. The credit to net loss comes primarily from the discontinued operations being much less of a drag. A significant charge of $45.8 million was recorded in the prior year due to an impairment of assets related to the ammunition segment being classified as held for sale. This reflects the write-down of that business to its fair value less cost to sell. The Delaware litigation, which involved lawsuits between the company and Stephen Irvin, was settled in May 2025. This settlement led to Mr. Irvin becoming CEO and chairman, and involved the issuance of notes and warrants as mentioned earlier. The company also resolved an investigation by the Securities and Exchange Commission concerning accounting and disclosure issues. They consented to a cease and desist order without admitting or denying the SEC's findings, and importantly, no civil penalty was imposed. This resolution removes a significant uncertainty for the company. Looking at the big picture, Outdoor Holding Company has made major strategic moves shedding its ammunition business and resolving key legal and regulatory issues. Their focus is now squarely on growing the gunbroker marketplace and leveraging technology like AI. However, they still face intense competition, and the impact of warrant issuances on future share count is something to watch. The company's direction seems to be towards a more streamlined and tech-focused operation. My biggest concern is how they will navigate the highly competitive e-commerce landscape and effectively monetize their marketplace given the current market conditions. What I am actually looking for is sustained revenue growth from marketplace activities and successful integration of their AI initiatives. Oh, and the research tools I actually use are linked in the description. They help keep this channel going. That is my take. Stay decoded, like, comment, and subscribe for more. Join our Discord linked in the description.